get started with today's episode, I would like to quickly read you our podcast disclaimer. This podcast is for educational purposes only, and it is not to substitute for professional care by a doctor or other qualified medical professional. You should always speak with your physician or other healthcare professionals before doing any fasting, changing your diet in any way, taking or adjusting any medications or supplements, or adopting any treatment plan for a health problem. The use of any other products or services purchased by you as a result of this podcast does not create a healthcare provider-patient relationship between you and any of the experts affiliated with this podcast. Any information and statements regarding dietary supplements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All right, and now we'll get started with today's episode.
Welcome back, everyone, to a bite-sized episode of the Fasting Method podcast. This is Dr. Terri Lance. The last time I did a bite-sized episode, I shared with you some thoughts about finding your why, finding the reason that you are willing to do some things that aren't easy to do, reasons that you are willing to make some significant changes in your life so that you can experience a health or body weight transformation. And today I wanted to go into detail about an example, and I have shared this before, I think in an episode where we were talking about motivation, but I wanted to isolate it here and not talk about all of the information about motivation, but really just talk about this example. And this example is really to help us latch on to the reason why finding important whys, and that is WHYS, not WISE, why we want to find these reasons, these whys, is so important, because otherwise it is hard to do things in today's busy life that require doing something that's difficult, doing something that takes extra time, doing something that doesn't taste quite as good as what you're used to, any of those things. So the example is, many years ago, I was listening to a motivational speaker, and he talked about the fact that we have reasons why we want to do something. So we have the motivation, we have these whys, so to speak, but we also have, and he referred to them, I think, as barriers, and he used the word excuses when he talked about barriers. So we have these things that get in the way, that seem more important to us than the goal itself. So one of the concepts that he focused on is this idea that we do have reasons for doing something, but we also often have barriers. We have reasons why we don't do those things. And oftentimes when we're really struggling, those are winning. They are preventing us from doing the thing that we know we want the outcome from, but we let these barriers or these excuses get in the way. So he went through an example, and based on how long ago I heard this speaker talk, I may need to change this story a little bit as I go, but what he talked about is that if someone came to him as a coach and said, I want to start working out more regularly, there are health goals that I'm working on, and I want to work out regularly. And so he would help them and try to figure out how they could work out more regularly. But what he found is that they always had a reason they couldn't. So he would say, well, what if you did your workout during lunch? And they would say, oh, no, I can't do that. Where I work, everyone eats together, and so I really can't go work out during lunch. He said, okay. How about if you work out when you get home from work? Oh, no, I really can't do that because I get home close to dinner time and I need to make dinner for my family. So no, that won't work. He said, okay, well, what if you did your workout first thing in the morning? And very quickly they would come back with, oh, no, I can't do that. And their reply would be, no, I can't do first thing in the morning. I really need my sleep. Every 10 minutes is of so much value to me. I can't possibly get up earlier and do it. So they were creating a scenario where they were saying, this thing is so important to me, but I'm not going to do it because all of these other barriers, these interferences come up, and they're valuable to me too. So he said, listen, what if I could tell you that I'm going to give you $1 million if you walk for 30 minutes every single day for 30 days? Instantly, these people said, yes, I can do that. And he would say, well, when are you going to exercise? When are you going to do your workout? And they said, oh, I can do it after dinner. And, he was a little confused because before they said they couldn't do it after dinner. So he would ask, and they said, well, I can record the shows that I want to watch after dinner and go do my exercise. So they came up with a solution. They removed the barrier because they didn't devalue the barrier. They still want to watch their shows. But what they valued more was that $1 million payoff that they were going to get. And so if you are doing a change in lifestyle, if you are eating differently, or if you're incorporating intermittent fasting and you don't have it connected to something that's valuable enough to you, your slippery slope part of your brain will talk you into not doing it. Oh, it's okay to eat these foods. It's the weekend. Oh, it's okay. You didn't eat yesterday. Go ahead and eat it. Well, you did fast last week. You don't have to really do them this week. There will always be a barrier, some reason why you don't follow through with the plan, because those barriers in that moment are ranking more highly than your why. So go back to this analogy. If he said to someone, you're going to be in better shape and you're going to feel better if you exercise every day for 30 days, the barriers come up. All of the reasons why they can't do that come up. But if he said, I'm going to give you $1 million if you do this, all of the barriers disappeared. They figured out ways to work around those barriers. Someone else could pick up their kid from soccer practice. Someone else could help take care of the kids and get them somewhere. They would go to bed a half hour earlier so that they could get up earlier to exercise in the morning. They removed the barriers because the perceived outcome, the reward, was so powerful. This is why I talk about finding significant enough whys for you that you will be willing to do difficult things. You will be willing to make some sacrifices. You will take the extra step. You will maybe do something that's a little less convenient because the result is so valuable to you. So finding your why, and it might not be just one, it might be several, or if you listen to the most recent Bitesize episode I did, it might be 100 reasons. But I really encourage you to work on developing your list of whys. And as I mentioned before, it may change. Let's say my goal is to lose 25 pounds before my class reunion. And I go to my class reunion and I feel pretty good. Why would I continue to do the right thing for my body once I've reached that goal? So I may need to change my why. Some whys that people use are very time limited. I'm going on a cruise in September. I'm going to do this until then. They're going to need to develop a new why. They're going to need to develop other reasons beyond that. Some of your choices of why you want to do this are long-term whys. I want to be mobile into old age. I want to be a grandparent who can pick up my grandkids or run with them or take them on a hike. So keep working on developing the whys that are significant to you, whether they are whys that have a specific time frame or whether they're long term, keep working on that list. Keep that list active, because your brain is not going to want to do challenging things if the payoff doesn't seem worth it. And we need to be able to remind ourselves why we are doing these things. So I hope that these 2 bite-sized episodes have helped kind of solidify for you the idea of finding your why or whys and making them significant, and keep updating them as you go. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take good care, everybody. Bye-bye.